Okay. So we are recording this event. Vanakkam, I welcome all of you to the memorial of Navaly. I'm a survivor of Navaly massacre, which happened on July 9th, 1995, which killed 45 people of my village, Navaly, and also hundreds of people from other villages who, can you hear me?
Yes,
okay.
Yes, we hear you.
Okay, there's somebody said, send me a message, there is no voice, so I just want to let them know that's their problem. Okay, sorry. So, so we are here to remember the living and also the ones who have died on this day. So we are together to remember our people who have suffered on this day, and also who has been living with the memories of that bombing which happened 26 years ago. I like to start today with my experience through a song. Once in my life, in my place, air bombing has shattered us. From that day until today, life has become painful. 1995, July 9th, Pukaraya craft, dropped the 8 bombs, killed everyone, destroyed everything. We have suffered. We lost our home. We lost our lives. We lost everything. We lost our hope. Screaming in pain, screaming for life. Darkness covered all of us. Death has come, part of our lives. Ran from home to save our lives. Once in my life, in my place, air bombing has shattered us. From that day until today, life has become painful. 25 years PTSD, living in paranoia, scared to look the sky, panic to watch the plane, avoiding thunder sound, scared to live my life. Hatred deep within me, anger dwells in me, lost the hope to live, looking forward like death. Why should I live? I should have died. A question between life and death made me to forget this life and dream in dream world. Once in my life, in my place, air bombing has shattered us. From that day until today, life has become painful. So this is the journey of my journey. And right now, I would like to share you the story of Navaly memories. So we'll go through the slides now. Okay. So this is through my eyes, the way I see Navaly, and also what I have seen and heard and witnessed through my own experience. I'm sharing with you all. Next, please. Navaly is a very beautiful village. It has so much beauty of paddy fields and palmyra and very rich in nature. Next, please. Also, Navaly is very famous for poet Soma Sundara Pulavar, and also the artist who is called the father of drama comes from Navaly. And also before the war started, Sri Lankan Tamils, they had made their films in Sri Lanka. So we had our own film industry, and in that Nirmala is one of the movie which is directed and produced by and acted also by Navaly people. So Navaly is a very rich in art and culture, and one of the person, his name is Kamalanathan Vaidyalingam. He's an artist, and he lost his wife during Navaly bombing, and he says he was able to overcome his pain and the Navaly massacre pain by engaging himself into the art. And that is how most of the Navaly people able to kind of come back into life through the art we have been practicing in our lives for a long time. Next, please. The name Navaly came from having 9 temples in Navaly. Navam means 9 and Alayam means temple. So 9 temples gave the name for Navaly, and also we have Hindu temples and Christian churches together, and we live together as one community, and we share our celebrations together, and we share the food during the festival with all the other religious communities together. So it's a very peaceful place for different religious groups to be together as one. Next, please. So we have some primary schools and one secondary school. And I went to Navaly St. Peter's School for my primary schooling. And when the bombing happened, 44 students have been killed on that day. And it is also the students from Navaly and also from other parts of the village who have been killed on this day. Next, please. So Operation Leap Forward is the military operation happened on July 9th, early morning, around 4 a.m. Sri Lankan military started this operation, bombing and shelling the places. It's called Valikamam North. So they started that, and because of that, the people over there have moved from their homes and they started to come to Navaly. So these are the image of Navaly main road and the places where even bombing happened close by. So because of the people from other parts of the Jaffna town, peninsula came to Navaly. This place, Navaly, was crowded with people. It was everywhere. It was full. The roads were full of people. It was almost like walking, like how Moses led Israelites, that kind of a journey we were able to witness on that day. So until the bombing happened, Navaly was a very safe place for people to find refuge. And that is the reason Navaly was so overcrowded. When the bombing happened, we lost so many people, including them. And I have my story, Navaly Memories. You can read the whole story of the bombing and what happened and everything on that. Next, please. So these are the images of the bombs which destroyed the church and temple. And that is my personal journey, because we have seen enough images of people being killed in the church during the Easter bomb attack. But prior to that, we didn't have anything like that. I have not seen. So it was a very hard thing. And my faith was lost during that time, because I never thought people, when they take refuge at with God, from God, how can that happen? And also we were always informed by the Sri Lankan government to take refuge in churches and schools. So until this moment, we always found safety, because 1987, when the IPK came, we lived inside the temple for months. So temples and churches have been a place of safety for us until this moment happened. So for me, basically, I will say my safety was destroyed at that moment. I couldn't feel safe in this world when this event happened on that day. So it is also a journey how I found my faith and safety. And in my YouTube video, I have shared that with you all. So the next slide, please. So this one is the destroyed buildings at that time in 1995. And again, I like to mention that those days we were not allowed to talk about, there was so much fear of bringing these photos to the world, because it is also really, very difficult for, there was always a threat from the Sri Lankan government for us to let the world know what has happened to us. So there's so many images, so many things have not been shared with the world, and also the stories, unless it is ICRC or Bishop who shared. So these are the photos my father took at that moment. And it was, he really took a risk of taking these photos. And one is our paternal house, the one which is with the water tank. So I just want to let you all know how difficult we had to share our story those days to the world, because there was so much fear of sharing the truth to the world. The next, please. So this is Navaly today, and Ruki Fernando, he will share it later with us. And this is from his images. And I like to share the house which is totally destroyed. That there is also a miracle story there. That house had so many people in the house from other parts of the village were there in that house. And when the bombing happened, all of the people who were in that house, the ones who took refuge, were all killed at that moment. But except the owner of the house, the woman who was miraculously, nothing didn't happen. So there is so many miracle stories also in this whole thing, but it's covered with pain. There's so I just want to let you all know that, another friend of mine shared, it was just a couple of minutes ago, she was with her grandmother and she just walked away, and then the bombing happened and she was covered with sand and thrown by the wind, and she was safe, but her grandmother died. So there are so many stories like that, miracles plus pain, and it's so hard to unpack the miracles and the pain together because there is so much painful memory to talk about the miracles also at the same time. Next slide, please. This is the memorial we used to have after the Navaly bombing happened, because when the Navaly bombing happened, we left the Navaly. We all left. There was nobody left in the village, and we didn't have opportunity to have funeral service to these people. And also some of the bodies, we never couldn't find them. Some of them were, it's like a piled of body pieces, so there was nothing to see a body. And also, as we have left, people who were in a very good position of were buried different places in Jaffna, and we couldn't bury them in Navaly. So we didn't have proper grieving and mourning for our loss, because we wanted to live, we wanted to find safety, so we couldn't spend time with our loved ones who were dead. And also it was evening, so it was getting dark. So that also made us, we ran to save our lives. So there was not proper time given for this. And then continuously we were struggling to live. So, that was the one of the hardest part of this Navaly massacre, is we didn't have time to mourn and grieve. And that is something we are still doing it for a long time, and it is continuing. Next, please.
Just a very quick thing, Maureen and all others. If you get locked out of the meeting, please return on the same link, and we can connect to that. Okay. Please continue, Maureen.
Okay, and this is the monument site which is built there. So I just want to let you all know that there is a monument site built for them, and we have masses and prayers to remember them. Next, please. And this is the mass which is celebrated last year. And the Sri Lankan government issued a court order not to commemorate the memorial at the memorial site, but they were allowed to do the mass inside the church. So but still, despite of everything, people were able to do at the monument also. So these are the images from last year during the pandemic. Next, please. So this is at the monument last year. And I also like to inform you all, 3 of our friends, Sinhala friends, Pasan, Amalini, and Ruki, were there at this moment in that place in Navaly. So that I believe it was a healing for all of us, and we are really grateful for Sinhala is joining together with us and supporting our healing journey. So we are so grateful for all the people who have been together, staying with us throughout this time of our journey, to give us the strength to share the truth about ourselves. Thank you. Next, please. And this is the memorial site. So I would love to invite all of you right now. Just imagine that you are there right now at this place. And let's take this time to offer our prayers to these souls who have left this world in a very unexpected way, in a very bad, sad way. So let's observe silence now. Thank you. Okay, thank you very much. So next, I like to invite Anila Tenzin. Tenzin is a ordained Sinhala Buddhist nun born in Sri Lanka, living in Australia. She's ordained by Dalai Lama, and I met her in 2017 in Sri Lanka. And when the Navaly bombing happened, I believed that this bombing happened by the Sri Lankan Sinhala Buddhist nation. So this bombing happened because of Buddha. So when I met her, I was crying, saying Buddha killed us. So that is how our journey started. And she has been with me throughout these times, especially of healing the wounds of my war. And I have found the healing for my wounds through Buddhist meditations, and also a Buddhist monk, Thich Nhat Hanh. He is a Vietnam Buddhist monk who survived through this. So it was really helpful for me. So I like to invite her to lead us into meditation. Thank you.
Well, I don't know what one can say in a moment like that. I have had the privilege to participate, as Maureen said, in her journey since 2017. And I was very sheltered because I didn't live in Sri Lanka during the war. So I am a little bit more capable to bear witness to things that the suffering the Tamil people have gone through, and particularly Maureen's personal journey. Because I was really, I was not impacted personally. So I must say, I am very honored to participate and be part of this ceremony, and also to learn a large chunk of the history that I have not had a too closer understanding of. So I'd like to take a moment to, when tragedies like this happen, when we come through war and such pain and grief and what we destroy, for me personally, I can see that what we have destroyed is our motherland, the place that we call home. And then we can't help but the personally, how it impacts each and every one of us. And we understand the capacity and the compassion and love in people's heart, as well as the other side. So because Maureen talked about Thich Nhat Hanh, before we do a meditation, I just, when she actually asked me to to lead a meditation, what resonated for me is this holding these very complex parts of mankind. We are capable of so much love, and also we are capable of such cruelty. And Thich Nhat Hanh wrote a beautiful poem about it, and I don't have a melodious voice, but I'm just going to read a few verses And that is really understanding ourselves, that how we have these opposing forces within ourselves, and just accepting that these atrocities did happen, that people did die, and that we were capable of doing these things. So I'd like to read just a few verses from Please Call Me by My True Names. Do not say that I'll depart tomorrow, because even today I still arrive. Look deeply, I arrive in every second, to be a bud on a spring branch, to be a tiny bird with wings still fragile, learning to sing in my new nest, to be a caterpillar in the heart of a flower, to be a jewel hiding itself in a stone. I still arrive in order to laugh and to cry, in order to fear and to hope. The rhythm of my heart is the birth and death of all that are alive. I am the mayfly metamorphosizing on the surface of the river, and I am the bird which arrives in time to eat the mayfly. I am the frog swimming happily in the clear pond, and I am also the grass snake who, approaching in silence, feeds itself on the frog. I am the child in Uganda, all skin and bones, my legs as thin as bamboo sticks, and I am the arms merchant selling deadly weapons. I am the 12-year-old girl, refugee on a small boat, who throws herself into the ocean after being raped by a sea pirate. And I am the pirate, my heart not yet capable of seeing and loving. I am a member of the Politburo with plenty of power in my hands, and I am the man who has to pay his debt of blood to my people, dying slowly in a forced labor camp. My joy is like spring, so warm it makes flowers blossom in all walks of life. My pain is like a river of tears, so full it fills the four oceans. Please call me by my true names, so I can hear all my cries and laughs at once, so I can see that my joy and pain are one. Please call me by my true names, so I can wake up, and so the door of my heart can be left open, the door of compassion. So I just like for us to take a moment to really connect with whatever feeling that comes up for you, hearing Maureen's story, being part of wherever you have joined today, whatever that brings up for you, I would like you to hold it. Just take a moment to really be with it. Just acknowledging the emotion. And I'd invite you to just think about all of the people who have passed those 26 years ago on this occasion, and all the people who are passing today, particularly the lives that are lost to war, the sudden deaths, the having to say goodbyes unprepared, and just extend the same heart that these things, that what happened in Sri Lanka and Navaly is still happening. So there is hope as well that we have from so many opposing sides. Sinhala people, few of us, have come together from all sides to bear witness and to create a message of hope and love. And I'd like you to hold that in your hearts and never to underestimate the power a small handful of people can create for healing and change. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Anila. So let's continue. There is a poem written by a Canadian Tamil diaspora girl, and she, when I met her, for me it was like, you don't understand what I have gone through because you have born in a country there is no war. But being with her, I understood the intergenerational trauma all of us, we are carrying within us. So I also want us to remember the children of or the next generation of those who are witnessed and victims and survivors of Navaly massacre, who are born in Sri Lanka and even outside the Sri Lanka in different parts of the world, because of the Navaly massacre, because the ancestors have been killed or injured or witnessed the bombing, they themselves are going through so much of trauma which we don't understand. And as learning the indigenous people in Canada, I know that it affects 7 generations. So let's hold them as we listen to this poem of Saranyaa. Thank you. Okay, as we are waiting for that poem, I'm going to sing a song and then we'll see how it works with the audio. So this song which I'm going to sing, it is called, it is dedicated for the aid workers who have been killed in Navaly, and especially, okay.
This is Saranyaa. I wrote a poem called The Paradise Island. They call our homeland Sri Lanka an island of paradise. However, if you knew the truth, you would think twice. An exotic place to visit and to see, if only you heard the cries of our ancestors' pleas. Shelling, bombing, shooting, looting, and raping, this is a land you step foot on, tourist shaping. The number of souls who have gone missing would make you shake and count your blessings. The years of screaming and hiding and fear has no words, only the shedding of tears. Yes, I may not have been born on that land, but my family still carries a scent in their hands. The number of years of hate, separation, and isolation, now the young ones come together as a nation. How dare you claim this place as heaven on earth? Do you even know our collective worth? When so many had to flee their motherland in order to give birth in a foreign land. Till today, struggling to speak the language our parents fled to leave behind all this baggage. When asked by their children what happened in those days, they dare not give praise. Instead, they shift their gaze. We are not asking you to unravel an unspoken mystery, simply echo back the truth of our history. Recognize it for what it is, a genocide, and no, we are not saying this in pride. All the voices and photographs you see is a demand for change in the decree. And no, the stand we take is not a violent affair, but understand that we will not be silenced, just to be clear. I am Tamil, and genocide is part of my identity. Please stop calling Sri Lanka a place of serenity. We are coming together in our truth, culture, and history. We implore you to recognize it as such swiftly. Education of people is a key to empowerment. We ask you to step up, dear government. This is not a paradise island, and its people refuse to remain silent.
Thank you. So I dedicate my song to aid workers, especially Hemalata, the GS, the village officer who died on that day. I saw her just 5 minutes before the bombing saying, I'm going to the church to see what they need on this, what the people need. And she died because of helping people. And there are so many other aid workers from Jaffna has been in Navaly church to help people, and they have been killed on this day. And Navaly people themselves, they were in the church cooking for the people when the bombing happened, and they died. If those people who could have stayed at their homes, they could have survived on that day. So I wanted to offer this song to everybody, and especially the aid workers who have sacrificed their lives for the rest of the people who have come to take refuge in Navaly. நவாலியின் குண்டுகளை சுமந்து வாழ்கிறோம், நம் நிம்மதியை இழந்து இன்று தவித்து வாழ்கிறோம். குண்டு விழுந்த போது நாம் கதி கலங்கி போனோம், கடவுளே இல்லை என மெய்மறந்து நின்றோம். இறந்த உடல்களை அன்று கோயில்களில் கண்டோம், சிதைந்த பிணங்களை அன்று கடந்து நாமும் சென்றோம். நவாலியின் குண்டுகளை சுமந்து வாழ்கிறோம், நம் நிம்மதியை இழந்து இன்று தவித்து வாழ்கிறோம். உதவி வழங்க சென்று நாம் உயிர்களையே இழந்தோம், உணர்வுகளை புதைத்து நாம் மௌனமாக வாழ்ந்தோம். எரியுதமது நெஞ்சு, வலிக்குதமது மனசு, இழந்தமது சொந்தம் திரும்ப போவதில்லை. நவாலியின் குண்டுகளை சுமந்து வாழ்கிறோம், நம் நிம்மதியை இழந்து இன்று தவித்து வாழ்கிறோம். Thank you. Now I like to invite Ruki Fernando, who is an activist, and also Ruki is a teacher at Oblates Institute of Higher Learning for Social Engagement for Peace and Reconciliation, where I met him. And until I met him, I personally thought it is only Navaly church is bombed, and the other churches in Jaffna has been bombed, but I didn't know anything about Katankudi massacre. I didn't know what happened in Anuradhapura Vihara, Dalada Maligava. So it was an eye-opening to see how all the rest of the Sri Lanka have been also suffering because of this war. So it was an opportunity for me to see the problem in a holistic way. And also he was there in Navaly last year, and he has written the article in Tamil, in English, and translated into Tamil and Sinhala also. So I like him to share his experience. Also to let's see the slide which he has already made for us. Thank you.
Thank you, Maureen. So I think first I will share the slide.
Okay, yeah.
So the slides are all based on a visit I made last year. But my visit was a few days before, actually, the actual memorial on 9th. I think it was on 3rd, 2nd, 3rd, 4th. So maybe we'll show the slides first, which is about 2 minutes. There's no sound, but I might say something. Otherwise, we'll just watch it quietly.
Sure.
Okay.
Thank you.
think we can, doesn't look as if it's moving, so maybe we have to manually move it, or right, it is moving. So this is actually a map of the places where the bombs were dropped, and was drawn by a survivor who was there. And it shows that it not only the church was bombed, but several other places as well. So there were memorials from the beginning itself in 1995 itself, and this is an announcement of a 47th day memorial. Then there's another two notices that I found about 39th and 47th day memorial for a 16-year-old boy that was killed. Then another one was found for the 45th day memorial, a tribute by a unnamed group of friends. These death certificates are significant, I thought, because they clearly mention the cause of death as aerial bombardment, one in Tamil, one in English. So that gives an indication of who is responsible. There has been compensation for a few people at that time, so 15,000 rupees. So there was a copy of a check that one of the survivors and his family showed. These photos are also 2020, so 25 years later, these ruins were still there. Another house which has been destroyed, and this house has been damaged, and they have been left as it was for 25 years. This is the church last year. This is a Hindu temple, the Kovil, again last year, and that monument, I think, it was already shown by Maureen. So this was very moving for me. On the 4th of July, when I was there, I found that some boys were cleaning up the memorial, getting it ready for the memorialization that was going to happen on the 9th. So that was a very, the visit was a very moving experience for me. I was very touched by the stories that people told, but of course there was also a very warm kind of a warmth in the people that kind of spoke to me. There were, I found by coincidence when I went there, I found people they were from Navaly because they had not spoken about their personal experiences to me before, although I've known them, some of them for several years. And also, I think last year was significant for me because it was still East in my memory, and I think in the memory of many Christians and many people all over Sri Lanka. But incidents like Navaly, which happened in the north and east, where the survivors or the victims were mostly Tamils, are often not remembered as much as the other incidents are remembered. So for me, this was always very striking. I always wondered whether there is a discrimination even in death. That even dead people seem to be discriminated in the way they are remembered. And I thought that a good way that we can try to be more united and to forge coexistence is to be united in the way we remember our brothers and sisters who have been killed in a very violent way. So it's very difficult to think of any form of reparations by the state or even by society as a whole at this stage, 26 years later. So it's also very difficult to think of any criminal accountability or justice. But at the very minimum, I think if there's a formal acknowledgement by the state, including those who were in power at that moment, like the former president, Chandrika Kumarasamy, who was in power at that moment, the officers in charge of the Air Force at that moment, at that time in 1995, people who dropped the bombs. So if their conscience will prick them, and if those who in charge, their consciences will prick them, and if there's formal acknowledgement, I think that might be a contributing factor, although reparations and criminal justice seems very, very far away, and very prospects for that seems very bleak. So that is the best I think that I can hope for, but I'm very touched and moved that every year there has been a memorial, like I shared from the immediate days, 45 days, 47 days, and so forth. Last year was a fairly big memorial. And maybe I'll share the last 3 photos that I got today morning from. There was a very small memorial considering the restrictions imposed due to COVID regulations. So maybe those 3 photos can be shared, the photos from this morning. So those are the 3 photos. One is the memorial that we already saw. You can see, unlike last year, there are very, very few people because of the situation related to COVID. But on the left side, you will see, there is a plaque with names, and that plaque or that memorial was placed last year for the 25th annual commemoration. And that plaque is still there, and that plaque has the names of many of the people who were killed. But the particular photo is from today morning. But I also understood from the priest in the church, but also the people there, that the plaque has some names, but some names may not be there. Because not everyone was killed on the same day on 9th July. Some were injured and some died later due to injuries. And also there might be others whose names might be discovered later, and people might. So there is an ongoing process. If anyone finds that the names are not there, or if anyone wants to check whether the name is there or not, they could, I think, send them to me, and I will communicate or to Maureen probably, and we will communicate with those who are spearheading this memorial in installing the names, and then we can see whether other names can also be mentioned there. So I guess I'll stop there. Thank you, Maureen, for organizing this. It's very meaningful because you are a survivor and eyewitness, and that's your native place. It's very different when someone who so closely connected organizes it. So thank you again for organizing it.
Thank you. So we are coming to an end. So I just want to thank all of you who are here today and being present with us. And I also wanted to mention, I was able to organize this with the help of Sinhala friends. So that is the beauty of my own journey. And the inspiration was given by Ruki, Fernando, and then Amalini is the Zoominator today who is doing everything. Pasan has been there with me since the time I met him. Through all the war, memories have been shared in story forms through help of Amalini and Pasan. And also Anila, Tenzin have been journeying together with me. So it's my pride and honor to have these Sinhala friends with me to share the journey I have lived through all this time in a war-torn country. So I also wanted to take this time to thank all of you who came here and who are present with us and who are remembering our loved ones and dead ones and living and suffering in the, in Navaly, and even the people from other villages who have witnessed this, faced this tragedy, the massacre. So we also want to thank all of us to being here. And I'm going to share a prayer, and you can repeat these words after I say it out loud. As we are all muted, and then we will end right after that. May all beings be peaceful. May all beings be happy. May all beings be safe. May all beings be awakened to the light of their nature. May all beings be free from danger. May all beings be protected and safe. May all beings be free from suffering. May all beings have ease and well-being. So thank you once again. Thanks a lot. Namaste. Goodbye and Nandri. And we'll meet again once again. Bye. Goodbye. We are ending.